Hey guys, and welcome to a Q&A. We have not done a Q&A in, maybe a year. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and
since I've ate and you've queued.
Yeah, I've wanted to take the opportunity for a while, but I moved away and moved back to New Brunswick, but I'm home visiting here in PEI, so we thought this was a good opportunity to do one. So I sent out a tweet onto the interwebs, and you guys responded with lots of questions, and we're going to answer every single one of them, or at least try to.
Okay.
I don't know how many there actually are. I did not count, but I think there are over 30.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And are you ready for this?
I guess so.
Yeah.
How can one be ready for something one does not know is coming? So
Death.
I'm ready for Q&A, but I don't know if I'm prepared or not for the actual questions.
All right.
We'll have to see.
First question comes from Caniac for Life. Are you going to delete the old channel or make videos private? I really hope you don't.
Yeah, that's a cue for you.
That's a cue for me. No, the post-to-post channel, the original post-to-post channel, will, even though it will not receive any new videos, it's not going anywhere. The old videos will not be deleted. The channels will not be deleted. If you want to go back and watch an old video, you're absolutely welcome to. Videos will be there forever.
Right on.
Next question from D's Pucks 30 says, "Hi, D's Pucks here. Big fan. My question is, what was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in front of a girl? Thank you for producing great content, Neil, and keep being the goat you are, Mr. Brent."
Oh, well, thank you very much.
The most
D's Pucks.
embarrassing thing that... Do you know I've thought of something.
For me or for you?
No, for me.
Okay.
I have no idea what
Well,
most embarrassing.
I may have told you the story in the past. I do have a story that's entirely self-inflicted.
Okay.
This is before your mother and I were together, of course. But there was this young lady at university, first-year university, who I was attracted to. She didn't really know who I was, but
okay.
But not in the hallway kind of thing. And we were on the same bus a few times because she was on the same bus route. So I ended up around Christmas time getting my hands on a car. Then I started to drive to university. And one day I was driving down Windsor Street in Fredericton, and I saw her at the bus stop. And since I know where she gets on the bus in the morning, I figured, why not be a nice guy and see if she'd want to drive? So I stopped my car and I got out, and this is not like me.
Yeah.
This is not like, I'm super duper shy, but I couldn't help myself. And I stopped and I popped up out of the car and I said, "Hi, I'm heading your way if you'd like a drive." She said, "No, I'm good." And it wasn't just the most embarrassing thing that happened in front of a girl. It's the most embarrassing thing that happened in front of a girl and about 30 other people at the bus stop.
Yeah, that's intense.
And it was entirely self-inflicted. All I had to do was just drive by, and it never would have happened. But then again, she might have said yes, and
I might not be here.
Well, you'd be here maybe in some form, or probably what would have happened is she might have said yes. She would have figured out I'm not a good candidate for her, and but yeah. Anyway, I'm really happy with how my life has turned out since then. I hope she has done well. I'm sure she has. But just one of those ships passing situations where I decided to make a real fool of myself and I got burned. And it's my own fault.
That's a good story.
But it was because I had some courage.
That's right.
Which I never had before, and I never tried again after that.
I don't know if I could have done what you did, so good on you for at least trying.
I did it once.
Yeah. For me, I honestly cannot remember a time where I did anything specifically embarrassing in front of a girl that I liked or anything like that. The only thing that I can think of is, I believe I was in grade 10 or 11, and we had a biology class, and that class was split between my grade and the grade underneath me because I came from a very small school, so some of the classes were combined with other years. And the people who wanted advanced math in my class, that's where they were. The people who didn't give a crap about math like me went to biology. So I was in the biology class, and I was reading the textbook, and one of the words was organism, but I didn't say that word. I accidentally said out loud in front of about 30 people, orgasm. So even though it's not directly embarrassing in front of a girl, there were lots of girls in that class. Yeah.
That would satisfy the criteria for super duper embarrassing.
Yeah, and the teacher of that class was Mr. Bose,
okay,
who was the almost the prime minister, who was the principal of the entire school as well. So
great,
double embarrassing. But that's the only thing I can think of.
Well, that's not as bad as other stories would be.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting off pretty easy there.
All right, Seattle, please draft Sammy Niku says, at what moment in your life did you figure out the morals you want to live by? Sorry, I can't see this. And the way that you want to live your life. That's a pretty intense question.
That is an intense question, and I don't know if there was a single defining moment where that happened, but
not for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just evolving and product of your environment as well. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know really how to answer that question.
I think there were two fairly important defining moments for me. The first was when my dad died in 1988, and I was barely an adult myself. I was 26. No, I was 20. No, he died in 88, and I was 28. Sorry, I was 28 years old, and plenty of time to be an adult, but I didn't really need to be because I had dad and I had mom, and they were always there. And then when Dad died, I realized there was nobody there on that side of my family. So it's not like I woke up one morning and had a meeting with myself and made a bunch of decisions or anything, but it certainly did change the trajectory of my life. And then when Mom passed away, like 7 years later, it was another big one. And even to this day, when I go to work in the morning, when I'm sitting at my desk doing my thing and I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with work, I wonder what my parents would think about me right now. If they could look down, and hopefully they are, but if they could look down and see me, would they be happy with how I turned out? And I'm not as obsessed about it, but I'm always trying to act in a way that wouldn't disappoint them.
You want to make them proud.
Exactly.
All right. That's understandable. I honestly do not have an answer even close to as good as that. So I honestly don't know. They've asked another question, though. What's something that doesn't really smell great, but you keep wanting to smell it anyway? And I already know your answer. It's going to be skunk.
It is going to be skunk. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. But when I encounter a distant skunk smell, I'm like, oh. Now, I've had skunk really close, and it's gross. It's sickening at very close range. It doesn't even smell the same. It's just a whole new level of ugly. You need
to have peripheral skunk smell.
Yeah. So that's one.
Okay.
Another, sometimes certain kinds of diesel engines make an exhaust that almost smells like a barbecue.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to explain, but that's another smell that I kind of like.
I was gonna say gasoline.
Yeah, gasoline does that. Although the gasoline these days doesn't smell nearly as good as the gasoline used to smell back in the days of leaded fuel and stuff. I just have a feeling gas back then was worth smelling, but yeah.
Aviation fuel.
Yeah, avgas, it brings back certain memories for me, like 100 low lead has
like
a certain...
Sometimes when you're walking on the gangway into the plane or out of the plane, you can smell it.
Yeah, and you're smelling Jet A there for the most part for turbine planes. But when I'm gassing up like the little plane, we're using... There's two things it does to me. One is to bring back or reinvigorate the memories of being around an airport and small planes. But the other thing it brings back is memories of being at the stock car racing track.
Yes.
Because the pro stock cars burn avgas.
Yeah.
For the 100 octane.
Yeah.
And that would remind me of stock car racing too. Super sports and some of the others not so much, but the pro stock did.
Next question from Hockey Guy 66871. What do you like in your pizza? I think our answer is the exact same.
Pepperoni, cheese, tomato sauce, end of story.
End of story. That's it.
That's it. Pizza with more than that on it is not really pizza.
No pineapples, for sure.
Definitely not.
Justin asks, if you were forced to keep only one jersey, which one would you choose? That's probably more of a cue for me. Justin, I do not like you for asking this question because that is a very hard answer to come up with. I would probably have to choose, and I guess this is keep one jersey from my current collection. If I could choose a jersey to only have one of, it would be a Colorado Avalanche third jersey with a name and a number on the back. I do have that jersey in Reebok with no number and name, but so I would not choose to keep that jersey. Of all the jerseys in my collection, I'd probably choose to keep the Team Finland Sakko Koivu signed jersey that Joey got me. That one is top tier in my collection, so I'd have to choose that one. Vegas Golden Knights coverage says, is Ryan Reaves your favorite or second favorite NHL player? He is not in my top 10.
I like him a lot, but top 10 I don't know. But I have very positive opinions of Ryan Reaves.
I like Ryan Reaves for the most part.
On my team. I want him on my team.
I do not dislike Ryan Reaves.
Yeah. I don't like playing against him. Like he's
exactly.
He's a rugged guy. Yeah.
The Seattle Count asks another question. Where do you find your purpose? These are deep questions.
Man.
I don't know. These are too deep for me.
I don't know either. I hope I never find it.
You hope you never find your purpose?
Yeah. Like if I find my purpose and then I complete my mission, then...
You just always want to be trying to find your purpose.
Yeah. I think the search for purpose is probably something that I'd like to have hanging in front of me like a carrot for all of my life.
You're so wise. That's why you're the GOAT. Same account asks again, what's something that overwhelms you?
Noise.
Slow walkers.
Yeah.
Slow old people overwhelm me.
Slow walkers overwhelm me. Unnecessary noise overwhelms me.
Yeah.
This is a modern industrial society. Noise goes with that, whether it's airplanes, trains, highways, occasional beepers on the back of front-end loaders so they won't run over people. There's noises that are necessary. I get that. Unnecessary noise, gratuitous noise for the sake of making noise. When people modify their motorcycles or their cars to make them actually sound louder, I really want to do violence upon those people. I really do.
Do violence.
I do. It's unnecessary, or even noise just at unnecessary times. Next door to us, their house is for sale.
Okay.
It hasn't had an occupant all winter long.
Right.
So I think occasionally the realtor wants to show the house to a prospective buyer. But the driveway, for some reason, even though the people next door could probably afford it, I'm just guessing, based on the fact they both have good jobs, and now live in a new house, which is probably costing a lot of money, so I understand that too. But for $300 or $400 a year, you can have your driveway plowed out after every snowstorm.
Yes.
By someone else. But they don't do that.
I noticed that.
They come occasionally, when needed, and use a snowblower and go up and down. It comes with a great big trailer, unloads the snowblower out of the trailer, blows snow in the driveway for maybe an hour and a half, and then goes back home, I presume, for whatever's happening the following day. A couple of weeks ago, at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night...
Are you serious?
Serious. I looked out, dude blowing the driveway out at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night, and no one even lives there. Are you telling me that all day has passed, and it was a nice day that day,
and
it snowed 3 or 4 days earlier, and you got to pick 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night surrounded by people, working people, who are probably trying to sleep right now?
That was a dick move.
Totally dick move. Not impressed at all.
Is that after the sound?
We have a noise bylaw in the town. You can't make industrial type noise before 7 a.m. and I think it's probably 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. But 11 o'clock. I don't care if the noise bylaw or not. Just a dick.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Okay. If you could replace all the salt water in the world with something else, what would it be and why? Fresh water is a no-no. I never thought about this.
I've never thought about this. It would have to be something made of chocolate.
I was going to say chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate milk.
Chocolate mousse or, chocolate milk would be good.
Yeah. Just go for a swim, have a drink.
But it would go bad after
Well, it'll have to be.
It depends on where it was. But
if it went bad, like it was just a one shot of chocolate milk in the whole planet, and it was only good for 2 days.
After a month?
It would be not good.
I can't choose chocolate milk now.
Yeah.
What about... I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. No clue.
I don't know. Mercury. Somebody can float on.
Okay. Same account again. Would you rather eat one watermelon-sized mustard seed or 100 mustard seed-sized watermelons? Time limit of 1 hour. I'm allergic to watermelons, so I'll take
really
100 mustard seed.
I really have no answer. I know it's Q&A and people have the right to ask any question they want, but some questions just aren't really answerable intelligently, so I'm just not going to bother.
Here's the one from the same account again. Will Seattle hire Gallant?
Not sure if they will, but I think they should.
That's exactly what my answer was going to be.
Right?
Yeah. Aaron May asks, not a question, but can you do a geography game with him? Aaron, you're in luck. If you haven't seen by now, which you probably haven't because I don't know if I've released it yet, but we've already filmed four or five GeoGuessers, and we're going to film 2 more right after this one. So there'll be at least 6 or 7 geography games coming real soon. Elijah Woody Harrelson says, BLT versus club sandwich, which wins in a fight? Don't know because I'm not watching because I don't like either.
I don't like either.
Can't answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I take the L and the T out of the BLT.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just have a B sandwich. That's about it.
Yeah,
I don't even
I
know what's
agree.
in a club sandwich. I don't even know.
I think club is... it's something... Is cucumber? What's C? Anyways, it
No
stands
idea.
for cucumber, lettuce, under bacon, or something like that. Like that's what club is.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if C is cucumber, but lettuce under bacon.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew club was actually just an anagram or whatever.
Maybe it's
Acronym.
cheese. I don't know.
Cool.
Tell me in the comments. Simple question for... Oh, sorry. This is from Mortis. Simple question for Brent. What have you been up to, man?
Hey.
I've missed you and the stories.
Hey, man. That's great. Thanks for that question. I've been up to, I think, a lot of interesting things. It's been very busy at work. No one really cares about that, I understand. But I've been at an elevated position at work since maybe the middle of October, right around the time that you moved over there.
Did you transition to a standing desk?
I had a desk that was a standing capable desk. But then we moved just 2 weeks ago to a new floor, and I did not bring that with me. I didn't want it anymore.
I was trying to make a joke because you said your elevation it raised to it.
See, there's actually a standing desk
I know.
controversy at work right now because we're going away from things called Veridesks and going to motorized ones like the one you have. So my work brain is still on. I actually took that as a legitimate question, not as a really good attempt at humor.
It was a bad joke.
It was actually pretty good, but I just you were pitching and I wasn't catching, I guess. Otherwise, I'm back at university again. I'm picking up my course per term. And this time it's an advanced creative writing course that I was invited to. I was actually asked to take
snap.
it. Yeah, I didn't apply for it and beg to get in. I was drafted.
You were drafted?
I was drafted.
Dang.
And I said, well, you're going to draft me. I'll play. So
Heck yeah.
I registered for the course. I'm taking it, and I absolutely love it. There's 13 or 14 of us in there with a really well-known and experienced professor. Richard Lem is our prof, and he's awesome. And we meet every Wednesday night for 3 hours. And we basically analyze each other's writing. It's intense. It's something I've never been into until this last couple of terms with creative writing. I really like it.
So speaking of writing, have you written in any of your books recently?
I have piddled away at...
Piddled?
Yeah, it's about the right word.
Doesn't piddle mean pee? I'm going for a piddle.
Yeah, probably. I've sprinkled a little urine in my... in my existing manuscripts. I don't know. So I've done some tweaking here and there, but not sitting back down. Like what I need to do when I write, and it's been my experience now that I consider myself kind of a writer, I need a proper headspace. I need a proper working space. I need time. I can't just go downstairs for 10 minutes while I have 10 minutes of spare time and write.
Yeah.
I need to get into a place. And I need hours. Especially, I'm doing some writing now for my chorus, which is entirely new writing. So the books that I have been working on are just sitting over here, not too far down in the pile, but I just can't work on them right now because every spare moment of quality writing time I get, I'm writing to satisfy my academic objective for the class. So I'm writing that stuff for now, and the other things are taking a bit of a back seat. But what I'm writing I think it's very interesting. I find it interesting. And it's a fictional history about one of our own ancestors.
Oh, really?
So I'm taking his real life and some of the events in his life, and I'm tying him into other interesting events that happen nearby him at the same time.
Okay.
So I've turned him into a kind of a Forrest Gump type character. Not that he's, a simplistic guy or anything, but I put him in historical events like Forrest Gump was in, just accidental backing into presidents and stuff like that. This guy actually did know some very, very influential, important people in the American Revolution.
So this is just for school?
Just for school, but I'm being encouraged now by Richard, the prof, and some others to stay with this, even if I don't finish it before the class is up, to keep at it and actually submit it for publication.
I hear that teachers and professors and stuff now are encouraging writing students to write stuff that would be good for TV, or is that happening? Like, is there a push towards that?
Not in my class, there's not. My class is very varied. There's people writing memoir, there's people writing poetry, there's people writing musical lyrics that when you read their poem, you're supposed to have a musical track on in the background of music. And that's one person in particular. So there's every different kind of writing is happening in that class. So there's no movement towards screenplays or scripts or anything like that. Although anything's on the table. You can write anything you like. But we're not being pushed in any direction.
Okay. Interesting. Anything else? What else is going on? You're going to Florida next month?
Going to Florida next month. Just taking a week off. Going to decompress and buzz out of town near the end of the winter, which is... I like to come back to an improving situation in the weather. I don't like... I wouldn't want to go in January and then come back to 2.5 more months of this. So
I understand
that's why I like going a little bit later in the winter. Pardon me, early in the spring. In fact, spring will officially occur while we're down there. So we're going to have a spring equinox party on
that
Saturday
sounds
night.
riveting.
Well,
With a bunch of old people?
I'm 60 years old and I'll be the youngest guy in the room. So,
Yeah.
It's not going to be a rip-roaring...
So, you recently bought a DJI Osmo
Yes.
Pocket.
Don't have it on me. Not in my pocket right now.
That is something that could be used for vlogging.
Yes.
You are not keen on vlogging in Florida, but I have a feeling that people, if they're watching right now, if you want him to vlog in Florida and post it on his channel, which is doing pretty decent. I mean, you're up to almost 700 subscribers, I think, or maybe
I haven't
more.
checked lately, but yes, it's and I need to pay more attention to that channel. If there's anyone who's seen my other channel and maybe even likes what's on there, or some of the things that are on there, and they're disappointed that I haven't uploaded anything lately, I'm disappointed too, and I don't have a great excuse for it other than the fact that the rest of my life is just so busy. I want to finish my UK travel blogs or vlogs. I only have maybe 3 or 4 more to produce to finish that trip. I've got all the footage, it's all lined up, I have it in folders. I just need to sit down and get my head back into the routine of producing those. And I will be definitely taking the Osmo with me. I just don't know if I'm going to want to vlog every day. I don't see myself having an interesting enough life to vlog every day.
I think you should at least make one video down there, whether you go to an airport or you go to a hockey game or whatever. I think you should make a video down there. I think people would want to see it, and if you are not subscribed to Brent's channel, head on down to the description. It's linked down below. But yeah,
Thank you.
I think you should make a video.
Thank you. I'm not going to do that.
All right, encourage him in the comments, guys. So, months after that, you are going on a road trip.
Yes, in May.
Which you do plan on vlogging,
I do.
right?
I do, yes. I have some of the people who follow my channel do so because they're interested in my radio hobby pursuits. And this road trip is largely a radio trip. So my cousin Glenn and I, we've been on a few trips before. Down to New Hampshire for the most part, but 2 years ago we went to Dayton, Ohio. So this year, once again in May, we're going to Dayton, Ohio, but we're doing it the long way. We have an Uncle Roy, and Aunt Doreen. They live out in Bismarck, North Dakota. We've never visited them. Roy is like 90 years old now, and he would be my dad's oldest brother, and he moved out there when he was a teenager. He was in the U.S. Marine Corps. He's a full-blown citizen. He's an American, but we've never visited him, although Roy and Doreen and some of their kids have been down to visit with us in the past. So it's a really good time. We're already in Ohio. Now, I know, geography people, Ohio and North Dakota are not necessarily very close together, but Ohio is about halfway to North Dakota, and halfway is better than no way. So we decided we'd include North Dakota in our trip. So we're going to leave a week earlier than usual. We're going to take that week and drive through northern Ontario to Sault Ste. Marie and across the southern shore of Lake Superior. Probably overnight in Duluth. So we're going to probably spend the night. We'll do Fredericton, maybe Sudbury the first day.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, it's about 14 hours. 14 and a half.
To Sudbury?
Yeah.
Isn't Sudbury in Western Ontario?
No. It's between Ottawa and Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh.
Yeah. Like there's Ottawa, North Bay, Sudbury.
Oh, I'm thinking of Thunder Bay. Sorry.
Yeah. So probably Sudbury, North Bay area first night. Duluth probably the second night. And then the third day we'll push into Bismarck. That's only about 7 hours, that last trip. So we'll spend about 2 days in North Dakota with Roy and Doreen, and then Instead of coming straight back towards Ohio, we have actually about a day and a half we can play with. So we're going to continue west into Montana, just to say we were in Montana, because Bismarck's already pretty far west in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to go south into Wyoming, just through the corner of Wyoming, and end up in Sioux Falls, I think it is, in South Dakota. And that's right near Mount Rushmore. It's near Deadwood. It's near Sturgis, where they have all the motorcycle stuff going on.
It's a shame you didn't have just a little bit more time. You're kind of close to Yellowstone.
Fairly close, yeah, but not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite.
So just to put this into perspective to maybe our international viewers, you driving from Fredericton to the furthest point away, which would be Montana, what's the equivalent of that driving in Europe?
Good question. Probably the equivalent of driving from Lisbon, Portugal to Moscow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
It's a long.
It's a long trek.
It's a long hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Shane Boyle says, should Montreal trade Covey at the deadline?
If you'd asked me a week ago when Montreal was on about a 3 or 4 game run and it was looking good for the playoffs, I would have said, I think we should just hang on to him. He's really good for the room. But Montreal has now dropped 3 in a row, 2 of them by wasted leads.
Completely
a 2-0 lead and then a 3-0 lead, losing both games, at least stealing a point in the last one.
As we're filming this.
Like they lost to Pittsburgh last night, Saturday night. And now I think the playoff picture, Toronto won, Montreal only got a mercy point. So now it's an 8-point gap to
Done.
Toronto. And Toronto still has 2 or 3 games in hand. So it's really done.
Yeah.
And I think if Kovalchuk can garner a couple of picks or some prospects, I'd say thank you very much. Off you go.
I think it makes sense for both sides. Kovalchuk gets to go to potentially a team that could win the Stanley Cup, something that he obviously wants. Montreal would get some kind of pick in return, and I think Kovalchuk likes Montreal enough to possibly re-sign a trade and then re-sign back in Montreal. That does not happen very often, although we did see it recently with Montreal when they traded Thomas Polkanek to Toronto.
That's right.
A couple of years ago for the playoff run, and then he came back and ultimately stopped playing in the NHL. But I think that that's possible here, and I hope that they do get him back because I really like Kovalchuk in Montreal. Never thought I'd say that, but
me neither. I had given up on him, frankly, after the New Jersey experiment and L.A. and all that. I just thought I
was frustrated.
I was very frustrated, but I think he just took a while to grow up into the game a little bit, to the NHL play. I think he's been really, really a positive contributor, and the guys, they just love him.
The quotes coming from the players, all like on the rest of the team, just praising him, pretty impressive. Yeah. Like off the ice and on the ice.
And the fans like him too. In Montreal, if you go back over the years, the fan base has always really attracted themselves to the artiste, the Kovalev kind of player.
Because Montreal typically doesn't have those superstar players.
And oftentimes they're Russian, like Radulov, Kovalev, Kovalchuk here in this case, or even like a Pierre Turgeon, someone who's developed themselves elsewhere and then comes in. The fans really gravitate to a single player, whereas in many other hockey markets, they probably are more interested in the team as a whole.
Yeah.
But Montreal does have that ability to draw fan interest into one person. Oftentimes, it's a person who's not perfect, who's got a flaw, who's got something they're working through.
Yeah.
And it's the last gasp, like when we had Kovalev. And Kovalev was a great thing for a while, and then there was that slash in the wrist and the shaking
Carolina
the hand
series.
and the Carolina series. That changed the whole channel right there. It was a single event. And oftentimes these fragile relationships break down when something like that happens.
Totally.
But back to the original question at Kovalchuk, I think it's been a great thing. I think it's not wise for Montreal to hang on to him and not get some asset for him now.
I agree. He also, just from another team's perspective, he's making $700,000. Any team could afford that in their cap. They could make it work. So
they could.
It's almost inevitable.
Yeah.
Next question from Patrick, or Pack to the playoffs. Do you think Hall will re-sign in Arizona? It's kind of a tricky one. It's hard to say.
I really don't know. Hall's been around. He's been, the guy in Edmonton, the guy in New Jersey. Now is he the guy in Arizona?
He's been playing fairly well for Arizona, but they've had goalie struggles, and I don't want to blame their woes on Hall coming, although it kind of looks like that because Arizona was on fire and then Hall came and then they kind of dipped a little bit. I genuinely don't think he will sign in Arizona.
I think you're right. I think when you get to a certain age, I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's late 20s or 30 by now.
He's like
probably.
27 or something like that.
A player at that age starts to think about, well, I want to get at least one cup.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all this. I'll make millions of dollars a year, and I'll retire when I'm 36, and I'll have $30 million in the bank, and I'll be able to live for comfortably for the rest of my life. But when you get to a certain age, you start thinking about the legacy you want to leave, the pictures you want to have to pass to your kids, drinking out of this thing. So that becomes more important than just a ching-ching. So I think you might be right.
It's not like there's not potential in Arizona. There's more potential in Arizona now than there has ever been in the franchise before, in my opinion. I think the future is very bright for Arizona, but I think there's better opportunities to win a cup quicker elsewhere. It's almost kind of about math more than feeling, I guess. I don't know where he'll end up. That's maybe a topic for the offseason or something like that, but I don't know. He could surprise me and stay in Arizona. Okay, next question by Martin Clow. I don't know how to say their last name.
Clow or Clough, maybe.
Yeah. How has life been treating Brent recently? What exciting things has he been up to? I guess we kind of already
covered that, but life's been great. Life's been treating me very well. I'm in a good place. I'm content. I'm looking forward to just doing some things in the yard in the summer. I want to get a back shed going. Get the garage cleaned out.
You got a generator recently?
Got a generator recently. Got a good deal on it. Yeah, I'm trying to make the house more self-sufficient. I'm trying to make the house a little more solar friendly. Like I want to get some panels on the back of the house.
Oh, do you really?
I do indeed.
Wow.
To power my radio operation primarily, not to run the whole house. I think that's a little ambitious.
So if you're putting solar panels on the roof, that means you're probably going to be here long term.
I hope to be.
Yeah.
The Lord may have other plans, but I hope to be around.
No, I didn't mean like living and dying. I meant like moving or staying.
Yeah, I think so. I think if the right offer came along and we had a chance to go into a nice little condo or a townhouse, I'd have to think seriously about downsizing and doing that because really your mother and I in a fairly large house is not the smartest economy. However, we have a spare room for guests to come and visit us now that we didn't have before because we had a renter. And now it's a spare room, so we have company coming early in March. Glenn and his wife Wanda are coming to visit. First time we've had overnight visitors for a couple of years. So
there you go.
It's really nice to be able to do that. The other thing with my radio hobby, to have a radio setup that you can be effective at, you need good antennas. And you can't have good antennas if you're stuck in a condominium somewhere.
That's right.
So
and if you did move and you did have solar panels, you could technically remove them and take them with you.
Or add them to the value of the house. And
heck yeah.
The house now costs $1,000 more because there's $2,000 worth of solar panels on the wall.
There you go. Okay, next question. Flamed C says, what makes an exciting job that you would have a career in? I don't know if I understand.
I'm not sure.
What makes an exciting job that you would have a career in?
What would be an exciting job that I'd like to do other than what we're doing now?
What makes an exciting job that you would have a career in?
I don't quite get it.
I don't understand either. I think, I don't know. It's relative and subjective. I think exciting is...
I like my existing job. I'm quite happy to keep doing it for as long as they'll let me do it. I always did want to be a TV weatherman.
You still can.
I suppose.
You could be YouTube's first weatherman.
There's Frankie. Frankie's got me beat.
You got a green screen?
I got a screen screen, but Frankie McDonald, he's all over the internet. He's got me beat. I can't catch up to Frankie.
That's true.
But yeah, I have a green screen. I could have the low pressure systems moving in from here and there and have a lot of fun with it.
You could. Bryant says, if you could bring one animal back from extinction, which animal would it be and why? That's an interesting question.
It is.
I would say, what animal? Is a fish an animal?
I think so.
I would bring back the megalodon.
I have no idea. Is that like an Italian mafia thing? Go see the megalodon.
Man, you need to watch Shark Week.
I hate Shark Week.
What are you talking about?
I hate Shark Week.
Shark Week's pro.
It's just days and days and days of frickin' sharks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a waste of electricity to have Shark Week. It's terrible.
What are you talking about? It's like
awful.
the most successful branded week in television almost.
Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good.
Well, you
or
are
it
in
should
the
be
minority.
on.
Shark Week is legit.
I've been in the minority of almost every position I've ever taken.
Yeah.
I was, So
All right.
I'm cool. But
A megalodon is basically a giant shark. If you take a great white shark, which is from that wall to like that wall over there, something ridiculous, maybe even more, it's like 20 feet, whatever, and then times that by like 10. Like they're huge. Like a ridiculous size shark.
okay, so why would you want one of those, or I presume hundreds of thousands of them swimming around?
Just mess stuff up. I want video footage.
The food chain would be totally set on its ear, you know.
Because I think if megalodons came back, I think there'd be 2 Shark Weeks a year. And I want more Shark Weeks.
There'd be Megalodon Week, and then
Shark Week, yeah.
the few sharks that are left week. I think I'd go for the woolly mammoth, or
Yeah, that's a good
something
answer.
like that. That's because we can use some elephant presence back in northern Canada. Like have some mammoths up there.
What's that even mean? We could use some elephant presence?
Yeah, like Canada's.
For what?
Canada doesn't have a lot of interesting exotic wildlife to our view, or to my view.
You mean nothing crazy like snakes, or
We have snakes.
we have cougars and bears and
Yeah, we got
polar
cougars, bears, moose, caribou, deer,
all things.
wolves. We have your basic stuff.
Okay.
But a nice woolly mammoth, like walking through the northern tundra,
All right.
I think that'd be awesome.
Would just elevate Canada's status a little bit with the rest of the world.
Totally.
All right.
Like I'd want them on my money.
Yeah.
Like maybe the 50-cent piece with the mammoth on it would be like the biggest animal. Would be the biggest quantity of coin.
Quebec City would get another hockey team in the NHL, and you could call them the Quebec Mammoths. Think about the logo.
Bingo.
Easy.
We got to figure it out.
All right, next question from Jarrett. Brent, what are your thoughts on Montreal's recent surge in play in the past couple of weeks? Kind of touched on that, I guess, already.
Yeah, you should have asked me a week ago. I'd be like, I'm keen. But all surges have an end. Although probably at this point in the season last year, St. Louis Blues fans were watching a surge that they weren't sure was for real.
Yeah.
So
There's still time,
there's still time.
but mathematically it's unlikely based on the past 3 games.
The only way Montreal's going to get into the playoffs is if they catch Toronto. There's really only one team Montreal can surpass because the wild card situation.
It's just too competitive.
There's 2 or 3 teams that are higher than Toronto in the wild card side out of the Metro.
Yeah.
So there's no way to get in other than catching Toronto, and Montreal won't be able to catch Toronto. So good for trying, but not this year.
Not this year.
Again.
Okay, next question from Brandon. If you could have any 2 teams play hockey against each other, regardless of time period, who would it be? For example, 92 Penguins versus the 87 Oilers.
Oh, wow.
That could require some time to think about.
It would. It'd have to be NHL teams?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the most boring matchup might have been the mid to late 90s, early 2000s Devils and their trap system versus the incredibly successful defensive Boston Bruins in 2011. And that would be the most boring hockey to watch, I think.
I think you're right.
As far as excitement, though,
I think you have to involve like the 77, 78 Canadiens, 77 Canadiens in almost every conversation about the greatest teams ever. I think
the greatest team, yeah, for sure.
And who would you want to play them against to see if they really were that great,
Yeah.
I guess is the question. Someone from more recent times. Maybe the last Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup winning team, or the Capitals that won the Cup a couple of years ago. They were a very impressive team.
They were. He mentioned the 92 Penguins, and that got me thinking. And he also said 87 Oilers, and I related 87 with Sidney Crosby. What about the 92 Penguins versus the 2016 or 2017 Penguins? the Crosby, Malkin, Letang era versus the 92 Lemieux, Yager era.
That'd be interesting. They would be two very good teams, and yeah, sure.
Which would be funny because Crosby played with Lemieux in 2006 or 7 or whatever.
That's very cool.
Okay, next question by Matthew. He says, what is a team that you began to like more as the season has progressed?
This season?
Colorado for me. I'm all in on Colorado.
I'd be lying if I said I've been watching a lot of hockey this year because I haven't been exposed to it or haven't exposed myself to it as much. With you being away and me not being expected to
your job requirements.
Have opinions
yeah.
Every weekend. But if it weren't for the terrible numbers I'm seeing out of Detroit, like I've watched a couple of Detroit games and really
I like their lineup.
I really like their lineup, and they're coming out of it slowly. Now, hopefully, they can hold on to their core through the trade deadline, because Athanasiou, I think, is up.
There's
being
rumors.
talked about. I'd like them to try to hang on to him and Mantha, and just keep that core group together. It would be great, because I think there are good things in the future for those guys. But but really, I don't have any other. Like Toronto's disappointed everybody. Buffalo's disappointed everybody. Montreal's disappointed almost everybody. New Jersey's disappointed a lot of people, I think. Calgary's disappointed some people.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Vancouver could be consideration as an answer for this question. It's nice to see Vancouver kind of doing well. So, yeah. Next question from Max Lee. What is the best hockey game you have both ever watched, together or separately?
Wow.
I don't know if it was the best, but the most intense recently it was probably the San Jose Vegas game in the playoffs. The comeback, the controversy, just a crazy wild game to watch. So I'd probably choose that one just because it's in recent memory, but overall I have no idea.
I think the most fun I got out of a game that we watched together in person was the Calder Cup final game between the Fredericton Canadiens and the Adirondack Red Wings. Or was it Albany River?
No, Albany River
Albany. Just to see the Calder Cup being carried around the arena. Fredericton didn't win. That was our home team, but it was a great event to be at.
Totally.
And I think that was cool. That was a really cool experience that I remember both of us having together. And we've been to some NHL games together. None of them were huge games because we can't really afford to go to the expensive big ones, the Saturday night huge games. We've been to a few.
The Toronto Islanders one was pretty cool, though.
That was very cool, and that was going to be second on my list because we saw a great win from the home team. We had a great experience with the local Toronto fans. We had a great connection with several of the Islanders fans that were up for the game. Super people. It was just a really good feeling. The whole day was great. The game was great. The ride there in the train and back to the hotel, it was just a positive day. There wasn't a bad thing about that day.
And I think that was possibly the last home game, or the last time that John Tavares played in Toronto.
Before he was
a Leaf.
I think you're right.
But
yeah, and he, you got some good slow-mo close-ups of John Tavares in that game. You were the season ticket holders who owned the seats that you were leaning over to take those pictures are quite happy to stand back and let you do your pictures, and real nice people. And we saw 7-2, I think the final score
7-2 or 7-1, something like that.
Yeah, so it was a very impressive, comfortable, confident win by the Leafs, and with a lot of talent on the ice that we got to see in their early stages. So it was good all around.
And there's a vlog of that on the other channel, Post to Post. So if you want to go see it, it's one of the first videos on the channel, actually. Go check it out. Sam says, what's your favorite memory with each other? I think probably for me was when we went to the failed shuttle launch in Florida, even though it was kind of a wasted trip because we didn't actually see what we wanted to see, what we actually went down there for, but we did a lot of fun things. Like we went to the flight, fantasy flight or whatever, and we went to the Cape Canaveral, we did the tour.
We're at the Space Center. We even picked out our parking spot where we'd be in Titusville the next day for the launch when it happened, but of course it never happened. But it was a nice father and son trip, just the two of us. Had kind of a skeezy motel for our stay. Your mother would not have been comfortable there. And it was right around the time of the election. I remember being so impressed that you were asking me about the candidates in the election, Ted Cruz in particular, who's from Florida, and he was running for Senate. And so we had a little political discussion. I was very impressed. So
I don't remember that. Sorry. Next question from Kyle. Do you think Montreal has a legitimate chance to claw into a playoff spot? I guess we
Not
can't
anymore.
answer that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Skiop says, "Hey guys, what do y'all think is? Who do y'all think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year? Also, what team do you guys think signs Hall if he chooses to leave Arizona? I love the show and the podcast. Thank you, appreciate that. I don't know where Hall's going to go. I guess I kind of said that earlier. It's too early. Ask me again in 2 months. I might have a bit of a better feel. As far as who's going to win the Cup, I predicted Boston before the season. Usually I stick with my predictions. Colorado. I had a dream.
Really?
I had a dream.
Oh, wow.
I had a dream that Colorado won. And I woke up and I actually thought that they won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, no kidding. Well, good for you.
It was more of a premonition than a dream.
I think Boston or Washington are the two.
No, you're not even considering West teams.
No, I'm not.
Wow. No
And
St. Louis?
I have no reason for that. If any team, St. Louis is actually, a lot of teams when they make a big push for the Cup and they get the Cup, the next year is a bit of a letdown. But St. Louis is in it.
They're in it. They've been
still
playing
in
a
it.
little questionable lately, but
Yeah. But yeah, it's not out of the question. But for Boston to lose at home in Game 7, the Stanley Cup final, I wasn't even on the continent when it happened. I didn't even know what happened until the next day. And even then on British TV, only saw a couple of bare highlights, not much. I really, really wish I'd been around to watch that happen live. That would have been so exciting. But I think Boston, not that they're owed one. If any team is owed a Stanley Cup, it's the Buffalo Sabres or the Toronto Maple Leafs. But because Boston has one not too long ago. But I think they came so close. Their fans got such a letdown that, they're so used to the Red Sox and the Patriots winning everything. Oh, let's give them another Stanley Cup too. Because Boston people are nice people.
oh,
I didn't mean it that sour, but
I understand.
yeah, I know we're just kidding. And as far as Taylor Hall, I think further to our comments a while ago, he's probably thinking more about his legacy than he is about money and he'll get both if he goes to a team that does have a legitimate chance as a contender. Pittsburgh needs to retool a little bit because Malkin's not getting any younger. Crosby's not getting any younger. I see a decent fit there. I see a decent fit in Washington if they have the cap space and they got the room in the roster for him. But I think he would excel on a team of elite players. So
I agree. Next question from Marshy. Neil, will you be around for a Burger Lover 2? And have you heard that they're extending it to more than just beef? What does Brent think of this? Love your show. So those of you who do not live on Prince Edward Island, which is 99.8% of you, PEI has a thing in April called Burger Love.
March.
Where April.
Go ahead, keep going.
April.
Okay.
April. They have a thing where not all of, but a lot of the restaurants in Prince Edward Island get to make a specialty burger, and they get fancy pictures of it taken and stuff, and they're all posted on burgerlove.ca, I think the website is. And then you can go to these restaurants, get the burger, and rate it, leave your feedback, whatever, and then at the end of the month, a burger champion is crowned.
April's correct.
I know my burgers. Anyways, this year, apparently it was announced that they're allowing other kinds of burgers.
That's right.
Like chicken burgers.
Chicken burgers, maybe pork.
To me, unacceptable. What a missed opportunity. Why not have a chicken burger month? You could have it in July. Like, keep Burger Love beef. Have chicken burger month in July. I think the farmers were complaining a little bit because
There's a little bit of dissatisfaction because Burger Love, as an initial concept, was really something put together with the support of the beef farmers.
And it's
Beef
hugely
farmers.
popular here. Like millions of dollars
It's a big deal.
is spent. So.
And the restaurant that wins Burger Love, because it's a voting thing, they have to, as part of being in the thing, they have to offer that burger all year round.
Yeah, for the following year.
Yeah.
So
Now, what do I think? Because I know there's a little question there. I'm not a Burger Love guy. I'm not a Burger Love fan because I'm a bit of a wuss when it comes to what I have in my mouth. And when I have a burger, I want it to taste like a cow. I don't want it to taste like someone's garden or a chicken finger or an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Because there's everything on these stupid burgers.
Some of them get like this tall. There's all kinds of weird stuff on them.
So because I can't go to Burger Love and just get a cow burger, I just don't bother.
Boom.
Boom.
In your face. I will probably partake in a couple, but I'm not sure when or where in April. Next question. Harley, if you were the GM of the Buffalo Sabres, what would you do to try and make the Sabres a playoff team? Let's go Buffalo. Get Jack Eichel some support.
Yeah.
Maybe get some more consistent goaltending. I don't know. Get better owners.
Really, better owners who are less involved in the minutia of the day-to-day's functioning. I don't know what you do. I feel really bad for the Buffalo fan base.
I think GMs should be allowed to trade owners.
That'd be nice.
Next question from Linda. Who serves the best smoked meat sandwich? Or sorry, best smoked sandwich.
Best smoked sandwich.
I assume.
Smoked meat, let's say.
Assume smoked meat.
I must say that I have had smoked meat in Montreal. Well, first off, the city of Montreal serves the best smoked meat sandwich, period. You cannot get a smoked meat sandwich anywhere outside of Montreal to the quality that you can in Montreal. Mm-hmm. I'll say this, too. Any restaurant that's able to have smoked meat on the menu probably knows that they need to do it well.
Yes.
So if you go to any restaurant in Montreal that serves up smoked meat, it's going to be good.
Almost certainly.
Now, I've been to Dunn's and I've been to Ben's and I've been to... I don't think I've actually gone to Schwartz's just because it's up on the main. It's a little farther away from my neighborhood. But even small little mom-and-pop restaurants in the West Island, like there's a little place, a little restaurant in Lachine at the Lachine Gallery Lachine Mall called the Queberac, Queberac restaurant. You and I've been in there. And they're just a diner, but they do smoked meat, and it's awesome.
Is that your pick?
At the Queberac. Well, I think I'm going to say yes. But I don't really have a full-blown sample size. Okay. But there used to be a place called Moe's at the airport, Montreal.
I do remember that.
And Moe's is now gone. It's now a thing called the Pork and Pickle. And it's absolutely...
That sounds naughty.
It's twice the price, and it tastes... I tried to get a smoked meat. In other words, get me the sandwich on your menu, but don't give me anything except the corn, the beef, and the they couldn't even do that right.
Really?
Now there's a Montreal Canadiens themed restaurant right beside it that I didn't have time to go to on my last trip through, but I'll be going through there next month, and I'm going to have me some smoked meat at Dorval Airport at the Montreal Canadiens themed restaurant. It's actually owned by Jeff Molson.
You can take some pictures and post them on Twitter.
Damn, I am. I might have some Osmo following me every bite. Might be showing the dripping smoked meat coming up into the cavern here.
All right, sounds good.
So I know that's a really long answer to what was probably a simple question.
That's okay. Next question, Devin. Donair or poutine? Poutine. I do not like donairs.
I've never had a donair, but I've seen them.
You wouldn't like it.
Based on seeing them, I don't think I'd like to have one. You know what? I've also never had a poutine. I've never had a poutine. I know. Look at me. I look like a guy who eats poutine several times a day, but I've never had a poutine. You've
never had a poutine?
No, but I've had all the ingredients separately, and here's why. This sounds so stupid, but in a way, it's a bit self-preservation-y. I love French fries, I love gravy, and I love cheese. And I know if I ever had them all together, I'd never want to eat anything else. I'd want to eat poutine all the time, and I would be twice the size I am now.
Okay, well, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to film you trying a poutine for the first time. Not this weekend, but sometime in the next couple of months. Do you agree?
I agree. Can I put ketchup on it if I feel like...
Heck no. You can't put ketchup on a poutine.
I'm just asking.
Heck
because
no.
I don't know the rules. I don't know the poutine rules. But I know it's popular, and I've had like potato skins with cheese on it, and I love gravy. Like I know I'm going to love it. And I'm afraid I'm going to love it.
All right. Well,
it's like trying a cigarette or something now. If I tried a cigarette, I might get hooked, and I don't want to get hooked.
Okay. Next question from Luca. Do you think Ottawa can win a Stanley Cup with all of the good young players they have already and their boatload of picks? Ottawa's going to be a very good team.
I think so.
About 4 or 5 years, so
I think so.
Entirely possible.
Yep.
Questionable goaltending decisions, or there's some decisions that are in question when it comes to goaltending, as I meant to say.
And
we'll see.
And those things will never happen, though, as long as they got Gene in the office.
Eugene Melnyk does not deserve a Stanley Cup. I cannot, in good conscience, cheer for the Ottawa Senators to win a Stanley Cup as long as Eugene Melnyk is involved in that team.
If it was Ottawa against the team I hate the most, if it was Ottawa against the Toronto, well, they never would be in the Stanley Cup final, not in the current playoff structure. As much as I technically hate Toronto the most, I mean, it's time for them to win a cup. But if it was Ottawa against Toronto or Ottawa against Boston or Ottawa against other teams that I don't think deserve a cup anytime real soon, I'd have to cheer against Ottawa if Gene Melnyk was still in the
Eugene
in the
Melnyk
office.
does not deserve a cup.
Yeah.
on
I don't
his
want him to.
resume.
I don't want him to be happy.
Heck no.
I want him to be very unhappy.
Yes. I want his legacy to be losing and being a donkey. All right. Last question from Tommy. Do you think Ovechkin will break Gretzky's goal record? Cheers from the UK.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing? If you'd asked me that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd say not a chance. But you, I think it was you, and maybe a few other people I've seen, have done the math on the kind of production Obi's going to need in the next few years to get to that number. And, yeah,
It's entirely
he can do
possible.
it. If Washington remains a good team with good people around him, if they continue to let him stand in that spot and not do anything about him, like that's good for 30 goals a year right there.
Yeah,
just standing
exactly.
still in his office. If they don't deal with that situation, he can do it.
Yeah. Do you remember when Gretzky retired and his office was behind the net?
Yeah,
Do you think they're going to put a number 8 out in the top of the circle when Ovechkin retires?
I think they should.
They should.
If I owned an arena where Ovechkin played, I would emblazon an 8
Absolutely.
about halfway between the face-off dot and the slot circle.
Yeah.
Right about where he is.
Yeah.
Because, man, that's the worst part. Like, I'm at home and I don't know anything, and I see him on TV. It's like he's there. He's there. There's no one around. He just scored again.
Again.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I personally do believe he will beat the record. I hope he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that kind of wraps it up. So thanks for joining me, and thank you everyone for submitting your questions. We really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun answering all those. If you'd like us to do something like this again in the future, it might be a couple months because I'm not sure when we're going to be able to get together. But feel free to leave your questions down in the comment section, and I'll revisit those questions the next time we do this. So thanks again for watching. I hope you can hit the subscribe button for regular videos, hockey videos, all kinds of stuff. We'll catch you in the next one. Adios.